Anglican seminary school. So my parents or my mom didn't want me to go there. At least she wanted me to have a different experience from my brothers. You know, that time you write federal, you write state, you write all the exams. I passed all, but they chose that I should go to an Assemblies of God seminary school. So that was where I went to. Now, I was there in that church, in that school. It's a boarding school, a seminary belonging to the Assemblies of God. And the pastor or the chaplain spoke against my religion. You know, he was preaching one Sunday worship day, and then he started mentioning churches that he said they are cults, people should not go there, all those kind of things. And then he mentioned my church. You know, this is my 3 years in that church. You know, and the things he's saying is not true. So after church, because I cannot meet the chaplain directly, I went and met the chapel prefect. And I told him that the priest or the chaplain mentioned my church and called it a cult. I need him to come and tell me and prove to me how my church is a cult. You know, so that I can have my peace, because I was very, very disturbed about that. Now the chapel prefect said I should take it like that. Since what's it called? The chapel chaplain has said it, I should take it like that. Me take it like that? I won't though. So that day, I didn't go for exit card, you know, the normal permission to leave the school. I just left the school without anything. I left the school. I said I'm not going back to that school. Now, I didn't have the courage to go and tell my parents, you know, why I don't want to go back to that school. You know, so now I have provisions in the school. They bought me another set of provisions since I have come back home. Send me back to the school. If they drop me, I will leave the school and come. Immediately they drop me and they leave, I will leave the school again. I couldn't still open up. I didn't have the courage to open up and tell them, this is why. They did their best to find out what is the problem, what is the problem, what is the problem. At a point, I went and stayed at a family friend's place. I was staying at a family friend's place and then following the children to school. That family friend, their father didn't even know that I was staying in their house, but following their children to school. Now, my mother heard it, came, I'm coming there now, Sims, calm down. My mother came with my eldest brother. My mother knocked from the front. I didn't know my elder brother was at the back door. Immediately I opened the back door to escape. They caught me. And they bundled me home. And they flogged me shege that day. They flogged me shege that day. That was the first time that I had the testimony that they can flog you and you pee. You know, they call it maminako. You pee hot urine. You pee hot urine. I pee. Now, after the beating and everything, that same school, I didn't go. Now, they even involved my church bishop. They came, they prayed for me. They took me back there. But the time the man will arrive back to Owerri town, I am back. You will see me, the man was scared. He thought I was a ghost. Still, all those things didn't work. Finally, my mother even took me to one prayer house like that. And then the man prayed and said, he has seen, I'm going to be a great man. Maybe he's on TikTok, I'm going to be that great man. I'm going to be that. After the man finished seeing all the things that he's seen, then he asked me, do you have a question? I said, yes. 11-year-old boy, I said, how can I see these things you're seeing? My mother said, shut up. Instead of you to ask a wise question, you're asking this kind of stupid question. The man said, no, allow him. He's asking a good question. Because me, I don't know why I have eyes. You have eyes. You're the only one to see television. 11-year-old boy. So finally, they now decided to go and put me in the Anglican seminary school where my brothers are. Now, my first day in university. One day, I came and I took my our family car, a Mercedes 230E, and I drove it. They have not taught me yet how to drive. Even that day, as I was driving that car, I enter farm. You know, they call my mother on phone. Your son is driving this car. My mom left her shop and started coming down. When she came down, see me on the road. It was from the road that my mother started giving me slaps upon slaps. And after you receive punishment. In my house while we are growing up, if you come back to the house a minute after 6 o'clock, you are going to sleep at the staircase. Not only will you sleep at the staircase, in the morning you are not entitled to breakfast. These were some of the things how we were trained and raised. Today I am still in good touch with my mom. I don't even remember those things. I am still in good touch with my father. We don't even remember those things. This is, maybe because you ended up going to Europe, you will talk, my sister. Because you ended up going to Europe, you now started seeing some of the African way of upbringing. I still love them. I still appreciate them. Today we live as if those things don't happen. But do you know that I am not comfortable to flog my children? I am not comfortable at all. At all to do that. Some of the things how I was raised, we were raised with restriction on game. Only when my father bought us Atari 86 joystick back in the days, we were restricted only during holidays. They will allow you to do certain things. But my children play games if you come back from school, because I now realize that children that play games were more intelligent than those that don't play games. So you see, upbringing changes. There may be certain things that my own children might even judge me tomorrow and say their father didn't do well in this or that, not knowing that me too, I did my best, that I didn't even use the same hand my father used on me. So I want you to look at it from this angle. Sister, you can now react.
So if it's flogging, I don't mind, because the beating was tantalizing. That one is African thing. That one is no problem. So I was in Africa. I remember climbing trees and I was getting beaten for that because they're telling me I need to be a woman. I need to be more like a woman. Beating is not a problem, sir. Beating coming from the parents is never been a problem to me. It's the fact that they use Bible to manipulate their children. That's the problem, sir. Because why? Sir, the man kicked me out of his house at the age of 14. Since the age of 14, if I tell you what age I am right now, that's the same amount of time I've been outside of his house, but I'm still feeding him from outside. You use Bible manipulates. You use Bible say, this thing your school wants to present to you is not good. You use Bible say, this thing you want to do out of your own 10 finger is not good. That's the problem, sir. Because it's the same job. You told me Bible say, da-da-da-da-da. It's the same one that's feeding you today. Me and him talk. If you need something, he will call. Okay, no problem. But remember as well, when I came out at the age of 14, he kicked me out. I waited for his wife to come back so she can talk to her husband. He said, no, she's not coming in this house. Sir, ask me what I have done. Please, I want you to ask me.
What did you do? I know you have told us this story, but say it again for people who don't know.
I was when we were going to school, as the girl that I was, I had to dress like the Muslim girlie. Literally, I had to dress like them. I was not allowed to have trousers, none of that. I accepted that. Hey, I'm in your house, no problem. You buy it, I wear it, no problem. Including trousers, because sometimes in winter, thingy, you can wear trousers. So he will allow that, winter only. Same winter trousers, when you're a child, in the middle, somehow it will rip. We don't know how it happened, but it happened for both girls and boys. My trousers rip. I told my mama, trousers is rip. She told her husband, trousers is rip. The same day I told them, the same afternoon, he came and told me, okay, no problem. Later on, we're going to Primark to get your new trousers. That's exactly what he said, sir. I waited. I asked my mama, why going? Because the shops are going to close. I waited and waited and waited. Nothing happened. The next day, my long skirt was dirty. My trousers has ripped. There was only one skirt left, a little mini skirt that he even bought at the beginning. That's in the uniform of the school. I put it on. I put my tights on. I went to school. I came back. He saw me in a mini skirt. He beats me and put me outside since the age of 14. I couldn't run because he said no. So school is not going to allow it. There's no permission. So when I came out of his house, I went straight to a salon because I knew how to do hair. I needed to eat. I slept in front of his house for like a week before I even moved on. There was a park. In the night, I'll go there, sleep. In the day, I'll come knock the door for a week before I moved on. Once I moved on, I sorted myself out until today. But it's the same prostitution money that you use Bible manipulating my head that you're eating the money that you're eating today. Because when I came out, I was thinking to myself, hey, my dad said, if I do this, God go punish me. If I do that, God. Once I entered there and I did not see any punishment, I come out for that prison. I come out because mentally I was there in that prison. If you do this, God. If you do this, God. Don't do the wrath of God. Yo, 14-year-old? I had to sleep on buses. I would even call church people, and he would manipulate to say I was rude. When the church people are aware that me, I wasn't even speaking as a child. I'm not allowed to say nothing. The way you want me to sit down is the way I will sit down. Pimp, church people, he said no. I even called social services, he said no. I went to organization, he's all this age of 14, sir. The last time he spoke to me before I even turned 15, he came back with Bible. Forgive 7 times 77. I said, forgive what, who, where, how? I call people to ask you to come back. Okay, I'll forgive you. Am I coming back in the house? He said, no. I look at this situation. I said, wait. First of all, you're beating, which is okay. You're manipulating, which is not okay. Now you're kicking me out. I'm calling because as a child, as an African child, you have to call help. And I did that. I ticked every single box to enter back in that house. The man said no. And I told him, I said, you're a Christian. You are a Christian. And when I saw myself out, sir, if I tell you I was outside, even though I call all this organization to come, so he can give me small paperwork, as the Christian father that he is, small paperwork so I can identify myself so that those organizations can give me a chance to sort myself out instead of sleeping in the street. So he never gave. He never gave. Until I turned 25. I went there, I held my balls and I went into that house and I spoke to him. I said, you're doing me wrong. You're honestly doing me wrong. Isaac that is here don't ever listen to you, but you gave him what he needs to sort himself out by the age of 16. You kick me out of your house. Until the age of 25, I still have to struggle. Help me help myself. Sir, I went on my knees. I begged this man. I held his leg. I went on my knees. I begged this man. Crying. I don't know if it was real or fake, but crying was coming out because I needed something from you. Give it to me. I need that. It's mine. Because if I take the other route, something will happen to him. This is Europe. Something might happen to him. They might say, but why didn't he give you? That's not his right. All this. So I said, let me choose the church again and let me go back in. This man made me kneel down for like a good 4 to 5 hours. Waited for his wife to come back. And that's when I got my passport at the age of 25. And he's a Christian, sir. He's a Christian. If he was a pagan, I would say that's normal. But as a Christian, you're meant to be kind. Even with yourself, you're meant to be kind. You were not kind with yourself. How are you going to be kind with your children whilst being in Christianity? Beating somebody is not a problem. It's not a problem because we all make mistakes. Like Sample said at the beginning, we all make mistakes. But do what you've done what you've done, and today is the same prostitution money you're eating from, sir. He's here in France. He calls me from time to time when he doesn't have. Right now, I'm not working. I can't tell him I'm not working. He doesn't know my life. He doesn't even know which country I'm in. But he calls me because I have the same WhatsApp, English WhatsApp. He calls me. And I give him what I need to give him and I move on. Because I know if I tell him what I'm about, he's going to come and destroy it. Sir, another example. What's this? This yogurt with fingy grain inside. White yogurt like this, there's grain inside. I don't know how you people call it. We call it dege.
Burkina.
Thank you. There was a party in my mama's house, in his house. I was making this dege. So that was the time I said, you know what? You're my father. I'm just going to let you be. But me and you, we're going to just keep it on the phone. I made the dege very heavy, nice for the party, the way people like it. This man come out of nowhere, pour water for the food. I asked him, why you do this? He said, it's too heavy. I said, are you the one eating? You're not the only one eating. If you want me to make one for you, tell me I'll make one for you separately. But this is for the people. You put water in it, it's gone spoiled. What are you doing? He said, I should respect it. I should not disrespect him. That same day I left his house. And I was already old. That's by the time I turned 25 for me to get my thing. I stayed in his house for like 6 months. That same day I packed up my thing and I left. Because why are you traumatizing me? Why? Your son was there, you never traumatized him. When I was speaking earlier on, homeless men from church came to live in the house and I had to wash their plates. That's when I told my mom, listen, I'm not here for that. I've done it with Isaac. I'm not doing a grown man. And this grown man, they're not even giving you chin in the house. I came back to the house. That's how this grown man that was living in the house started giving them money, started giving my mom money so that she saw herself out in the house. Because they're Christian, they're abusing it. This is how I lived. You can't come to me contrary to what I live.
This story you're sharing is not an easy story. I have to be honest with you. Sometimes I get a little bit confused when you said that you are waiting for his wife to come back. This person that you're saying is his wife. Is it not your mother?
No, that's his wife. That's why I said his wife.
Okay. So your mom is not with your dad.
No.
Okay, and then your father remarried. Okay, I see. And did he give birth with that other woman?
Sir, that woman was pregnant. He brought that child back to Jesus.
All right, now calm down. I think your father, from what you have said, he is the problem.
He is the problem.
Yeah, because his case is special case. His case is special case because the things he said he has done. It's like Michael Jackson's father. The way they say their father will not allow them, blah blah blah. But your father is like different from Michael Jackson's father. Now, wow. What is this thing with that woman?
Well, they can't divorce, innit? But he lives in France and she's traveling the world because he wouldn't allow her.
Okay. Now, wow. Do you know whether your dad, his own father, was also strict like that?
This is what he said. Like I said, my grandfather from my dad's side was Muslim, so he had these many wives, right? So I understand where his anger comes from. I do. He claimed that he didn't know his mother until his father unalive because all the wives were together. There was a lady that he really liked. He thought that was his mother, but that wasn't his mother until his father unalive, and then he met his mother for the first time. And at the same time, he's also telling us that because every time he does what he does, he has an excuse. So at the same time, he was telling us that he lived in other people's houses and he had to do this and that. And you know, the famous, I have to walk for 45 kilometers to go to school. That speech was also inside. So for whatever punishment we got, there was an excuse behind it. When I grew, I understood that, okay, he went through what he went through. That's the reason why I went through what I went through. But am I to carry it in the next generation? No, I'm not doing that.
Okay, very good. Now let me ask you the final question. Now that he's older, you know, because you are now a big person and he's older now, has he changed? Has he become humble?
So I said I have 2 children, right? That's what you all know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me shock you. 2021, I got pregnant in England. I got pregnant. It was a girl. Because my 20-year-old, when he took her, I was in her house. I was in his house, and he went to court saying I'm not a good mother, and I was a child at the time. So in 2021, when I had my 3rd child, social services entered my life. That's England. That's the way it is in Europe. Social services enter my life. So I called my mother and I let her understand, yo, something is happening due to what happened before with my 1st child. Can you please help me? She called my father. So I gave birth because my parents, both of them, they wouldn't write a note down to say, oh, she has changed. It has been a long time, right? They wouldn't do that. So I called my big brother in France. He came, but he didn't do that. He just showed his face. Because I didn't do that, my child was taken away from me right at birth. And then, when was it? 2021, 22, 23, 23. I was in court with these people for 4 years. 2023, I was in court with them. I see my father and his daughter entering the court coming against me. But sir, as I'm talking to you today, this year, this man ate my money. This year, he ate my money. But he made sure, because if I explain the story, it's still going to be long that you're going to think that I'm accusing. I'm not accusing him. It's just the short end of the story I can give you. I needed their help. I had my first child after they kicked me out. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 14, 15, 16, I had my first child. Hence why she's 20 today. Right? When I had her, they did what they did, manipulation. I was still in the house, manipulation. The child went to them. I didn't even know that. I didn't know, because paperwork, he will not show us. He will come out of the house with his paperwork. 2021, I get pregnant. I'm in my relationship, I get pregnant. I want to give birth to my child. They're coming back in my life. You are my parent. You know what you did with my first child. At least you can help. Because underneath all of that, I still forgive you. I'm still having conversation with you. I'm still doing your shopping in your house. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You allowed them to take my baby right out of the oven. Right out of the oven. Then you come to court and tell the judge that I am not mature enough to have this child. I said, okay, no problem. That's you. You're still a Christian. So in court, I told a little bit of how this man treated me. And I told the court, if I see any member of my family again in my wahala, I'm suing you. You want to traffic my child? No problem. I don't have power to fight you, no problem. But if you bring these people in here to accuse me again, I'm suing the court. That's how they remove my sister and my papa from the case. Because they understand. You see what I mean? So due to my parents, I lost a child to the government. 2 children actually to the government. My first child and what would have been my second child, thingy, which is the name on Facebook. My Facebook name. That's my child's name. She's gone like this because my parents said no. I have not changed when they don't even know me. They don't even know me. But he will call me to ask for money. He will have amnesia. And then when I give him the money, oh, God bless you. So this is how I live with these people, the Christian people. I even sometimes I ask, why are you even Christian? Why are you Christian? Why are you Christian? Because from what I'm reading, it's not what you're doing. And every time he does something bad, sir, he has his favorite line in the Bible. God said you should forgive 7 times 77. Every single time. That's how I know all these things from Bible. And then I've read it myself and I understood the forgiving of 77 times. It has nothing to do with the bullshit you were doing. So it's hard. It's hard to have this kind of parent and still follow this thing. Even me, I'm reading the book today. Okay, fine, I'm not going to follow it, but I say it here. There are some truth to the book. I'm not rejecting the whole. There's some truth to the book that I use to my advantage, and I've explained it here. The best of my understanding, I've explained it here. I'm not against your religion. I'm against the things that you do was being in your religion. That's a big problem. That's a big problem, and that's my point here. So for me, and I know I'm not going to be the only person in this kind of wahala, right? That's why I say 99%. 99% of parents that do that. They do that to their parent in the name of religion.
Well, thank you very much, IAM, for sharing with us. My people have one popular statement. They say, use your place to know my place. Meaning that whatever that is happening at your place is also happening at my place. Every family with their challenges. Satan is attacking families for those that believe in spiritual matters. The family is under attack, and many people have gone through so many things. There is this time, what you guys call strength. I was going through an emotional time in my life, and I was privileged to meet a counselor. an American. It's an American professor of psychology, and so we meet every week. Very interesting time. He's my very good friend. Ted Warner is his name, and he told me something that has resonated with me ever since that time. He said that all the things that has happened in your life that led you to this point is inevitable, that there is no accident in life. Today, when you look at your son, very handsome, cute boy, when you look at yourself, the way you speak, English, French, and you are the best when you're speaking. Welcome to Faith Unfiltered, all those things. Your husband and the life you're living today was made possible because of every step previously. So the man taught me that there's no accident in life, and the life we're living today is not going to be possible if we didn't cross all those pathways. Those things helps us, it shapes us, it makes us better. Yes, healing takes time. Like your father will always tell you, 70 times 7. And you're doing a very good job trying your best to support him at old age, irrespective of what transpired then. For those of us that are stuck here in Africa, it's easy to let go of so many things and not even remember. Maybe we even crack jokes about it, when we recall certain things. But as a woman, the things you went through is not easy, it's sad. But those things have made you stronger, better, sharper, more intelligent, more everything. It also kind of made you to become an atheist today. For me, I don't judge atheists. Everybody is where they are for one reason or the other. But it doesn't mean that when you see others that are going through that, that's why you are spoken, that's why you're an activist, that's why you scream and shout. When you see people that are in a messy situation, you will not be there and watch any child undergo such thing. Many times, many of us are prepared for greater assignments in life because we need to experience those things firsthand, and you are overqualified to be a change in the world, and you are doing a good job in that regard. So I appreciate you a lot, and thank you so much for sharing with us. Here on Faith Unfiltered, people share things. Go ahead and say what you want to say. You have unmute your mic. Go ahead, my dear sister.
Oh no, I just wanted to say thank you. That's all. And people, please, I beg, don't use that against